Hello, good morning. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Asuri Balde, wherever you are. Welcome to this program. We have a lineup today on our running order, and of course, by the end of this program, I am pretty sure, our viewers will learn a lot and, of course, discover a lot from this program. And today, I am with Julde Njai. Julde now comes here once a week. Yes. We miss her already. Julde, how are you?
I'm fine, Balde. Thank you very much. Good morning to you. Good morning to our wonderful viewers. Good morning to Mr. Mboje. I am happy to be here.
Sa friend Mr. Mbodj te dafa ñëw rek mu bugg a aalu si suba.
Ne bàyyi ko
di aalu Mr. Mbodj bàyyi aalu nag ñun sa ay xale lañ.
ñett xamante waaye ñaar xamante ne.
Oh really?
Boobu moom off camera la.
Off camera la.
ñett xamante waaye ñaar xamante nañ. Mr. Mbodj, Joe, you are not telling me something.
I'm not telling you something. What?
What? Waaw loolu mooy affaire bi nag naka laa ko xamee soo ma ko waxul du ma ko xam di. Yeah, so we are back. Mr. Mbodj, how are you doing?
Alhamdulillah. Xam nga ñun papa la ñun duñ maam. So once in a while dañ dee xala firm, tough love we used to call it. Absolutely. Maam yi ñoo dee indulgent.
Léegi ngeen nooy.
Man duma maam la.
Waaye léegi nag yéen papa yi noo leen ñu dee traité. Da ngeen ñu dee traité comme ok fine dëgg la yéen a ñu moom.
Non moomuñ leen.
Agree nañ.
Moomuñ leen. ñun ñoo leen di lead. ñun ñooy di shepherd.
Non su ma nee moom. ci aspect boo xam ne sa doom yaa ko jur sa doom la tey bu baaxee dañoo ne doomi Mr. Mbodj la understand nga àddina noonu la mel Mr.
Mbodj naa la rek waaye bëgguma dem the other end ñi dee foog ne ñëw moom dóor yi def yoo xam ne waruloo koo def dañ la ko dënka we are natural trustees am na luñ ñu dënka liñ la dënka nag am na noo ko dee traité. That's how I so buguma them the other end. Understand I like by mom but it can be dangerous. So ñun dañ fi nekk pour guide leen rek gunge leen. Will soon be gone. Waaye xëy na gunge nañ leen enough.
Yàlla na yi. Wow, Bugana, we still want you around. Yeah, so on the program, we'll take a look at the African Code. From the African Code, the newspaper review. It was supposed to be Mr. Adi Drame. But Adi didn't inform us. He just informed us lately that he will not be available on this platform, and he deserved a warning letter for that.
Well, you didn't know when he was informed.
So that's proper
reaction. You just never know.
Then proper communication.
You just never know. Sometimes things can just pop up at any time, and you have to respond to them. So we should show some.
Absolutely.
Indulgence.
You are right. Yeah, so we'll also be taking a look at International Week for the Deaf, advocating for deaf rights and awareness. It's very significant. And we'll be having the team here. They'll be engaging us through and, what are some of the things they're expecting, some of their challenges. Yes. It's significant for us to say them. Then C3G conducts breast cancer screening and early detection for better outcome. It's significant, and so Manjai Laila Trabulsi C3G Foundation, they'll also be here. So we're going to expand the conversation. We are going to, hear from them, from their side, how important it is. And since they started this screening, how far have they gone? And what are some of the successes registered? It's very significant.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so on that note, Julde Njai will lead us to the African Code. Julde, yes. Her Majesty.
Thank you, Valde, once again. So our African Code this morning reads, one who causes others misfortune also teaches them wisdom. Mr. Mbodj.
But take us through.
Misfortune.
One who causes others misfortune also teaches them wisdom. So it's sort of a blessing in disguise.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
You understand? Sometimes you might treat a person, knowing deeply well, okay, I am treating this person wrong, but still persist, continue treating the individual wrong.
Right, yeah.
But at some point, but only for the person with wisdom will learn, you understand?
Absolutely.
Will gain wisdom from it. But there are other people who will not learn. They will just decide to stay in one angle, one box. I mean, they won't learn from their experiences.
Yes, yeah.
And day in, day out, they'll still be feeling the same thing. Yes, so...
Yeah,
See,
that's a
stuff
good
like
one.
be it misfortune, hardship, pain, failure. Paradoxically, these are like fertile ground to learn.
Learn.
Imagine if you had things right all the time, or things were easy all the time. Where is the opportunity to learn? Learn what? Isn't it? So it is like this sort of like being in difficulty or in hardships and stuff like that. Funnily enough, we don't want to be there, but without it, there will be no learning. Extraordinary. So, yes, there's always a lesson to learn at the end of it. Whether we all learn the lessons, I'm not sure. Perhaps different people will learn different lessons from whatever.
Things, yeah.
So, but that's really the essence, the essence of this,
of learning.
the correlation, as it were, between misfortune, hardship, whatever, and learning things, wisdom. I suppose so.
I suppose, yeah. For me, I think sometimes it's not always about a bad thing if you encounter certain things in life, especially from certain individuals who you trust so much, and then, they happen to disappoint you or cause your misfortune. They are teaching you the bigger picture in life. They are teaching you that it's not all that glitters is not gold. It's not rosy all the time. And I think the most important thing is to learn about the complexities in life, to learn about the adversities in life, to learn that life it's not always rosy, and it does not always go your way. Excuse me. It always does not go your way, especially if you encounter these things from a loved one, someone you adore, someone you admire, and then they just bum. It shows you that life is beyond just the physical look. It's beyond what you're just seeing on the surface. But also it teaches you wisdom. It teaches you the most important things in life. That is, to be honest, to be kind, not to hold grudges. Because karma is real, and it has a way of coming back to individuals. So if you cause my misfortune and you think that is your victory, come on, karma has a way of coming back to you. And when it hits, it's going to be devastating.
Karma, wow, you're taking us to an Oriental philosophy.
Yes.
Because
I'm a philosopher here, so I learn all these words and stuff. Yeah, so that at least you will not beat me to it.
Well, yes, people talk about karma. I do not know anything about that. All I know is that what I can learn in life, it is not about what others do. I wish that others would do good things, nice things, but it doesn't always work like that.
Yeah.
Therefore, I should build my own resilience, my own adaptability. To deal with externalities.
You're talking about climate change now.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all about, but I think
yeah.
it's important. It starts from an individual level for it to translate to the environment and other things. I like that point here.
Yes. I've taken on a bit from what they call stoicism. I made a distinction between what I can do and what depends on others. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That area within my control, I see what I can do. The area outside of my control, I do not think about much. I don't like wasting my time with stuff that I cannot do anything about. So I try to focus on what I can do, and that's it. That's where I stop. Anything else, I'll just allow life to take its course.
Take its course, yeah. So I totally agree. I mean, these things are meant to teach us to be wise, not just to have also wisdom, but also to move ahead in life. Don't hold grudges. Because the moment you do that, you're causing more harm to yourself than good.
Yeah.
Because you're holding grudges, you become a bitter person, and then that person is busy. It's like you're giving the person what the person really wants. So the best thing to deal with this is just to forge ahead, to move on, and then allow natural justice to take its course.
I once read this business person's motto is failing to succeed. The more he was failing, he was learning so much. But that was all preparing him for a success. So I like it as a motto. failing to succeed. Extraordinary.
Well,
that's really what it is.
there are other things that are unchangeable. Like there are things that you cannot change. I mean, you just allow them to flow. You know, you need to learn to accept certain things. I mean, sometimes there are things that happens to you in life. You know, at some point, there's nothing that you can do about it. You will get to a point whereby you just let it flow. But with time, you keep healing. It happens to me, it happens to another person, it happens to this person. I can remember between 2012, 13, I mean, I was going through so many issues, you know, beyond my control, you know. But now I can sit and say, Alhamdulillah, everything is time. Everything depends on time. Now I don't even think about those things.
I know.
Time heals.
Time is the divine doctor, I call it. Absolutely, that's what it does. With the perspective and the concentration of any feelings will begin to thin out. That's what time does. And thank God for that. That's healthy. So that eventually you adapt, move on to other things. Life moves on. So it is a healthy thing that time does for us.
Yes.
Exactly. So we proceed. Now we'll take a short commercial break. And after the break, the program is going to continue. We'll be right back.
Introducing the all-new Q Mobile. Rediscover the essence of mobile communication with a device that brings you back to basics. Quality, simplicity, and reliability. The Q Mobile is designed to fit seamlessly into your life, offering essential features without the fuss. 72-hour battery life, keeping you connected longer. Listen to news, prayers, or your favorite shows with the FM radio on Q Phone. A built-in torchlight, always ready when you need it, memory card slot for expandable storage, and dual SIM capability for flexibility and convenience. Why wait? Step into any of our care centers today and get your hands on the most affordable phone for just $600. Plus, enjoy a bonus package of 300 minutes talk time and 300 SMS spread over 3 months. Absolutely free. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, senior boss. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
We're back. You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Masuri Balde. Now let's head to the stories making headlines. And we have 27 BCC staff indicted. I mean, you know, it's definitely a very surprising thing. But at some point too, your other side of your brain will tell you, why are you surprised, considering the way things are moving, considering all these commissions that happened? We now have the local government commission, and you know, they have really manifested some of the irregularities in some of our councils. So some might be surprised, some might not be surprised. So here are people that are indicted. You know, they've been sent home. You know, to until when the investigations are done, Mr. Mamadou Botch.
That's it. So that is actually interdicted.
Interdicted,
Not indicted. Yes, absolutely. I mean, the commission into the local government activities been so revelatory. So a good number of us, perhaps not surprised, but still, the nature of it, how unseemly, how people were just doing whatever they wanted. There was no monitoring. That appeared no monitoring. The casual nature of running public offices, unbelievable. To me, it was really quite bewildering, to be quite honest. And we need to step up our efforts. We need to be serious about these things, really. It is about the institutional failures. That's really why we are not making headways in so many different areas. We now understand that it's really about societal institutions that really make a difference. This year, the people who won the Nobel Prize for Economics, this was really their area. We should really take heed and read about what they've been talking about, why we are underdeveloped, things are not happening. And some people sort of knew. if you do not have your strong institutions working as they should, you are not going to see what you're supposed to see. Your people will not see anything because now we use institutions for our private gains instead of institutions that would improve the lives of individuals. So this is it.
Absolutely.
So what's going to happen here and in other areas? But this should be the emergency.
Yeah,
You know,
I
with
mean,
our governance,
the
that's
grassroots,
the emergency, to take care of the institutions, make sure that they work well. But this is going to be a tough fight because you're dealing with the population, with all of us. We believe that our institutions, especially public institutions, this way I should get my private gains. This is almost like a cultural belief amongst all of us. So it's going to be a very difficult fight for any government or any authority to deal with that. We are all like that, really.
If there is anything that taught me like a lesson with this whole local government commission is the fact that the problem itself is us as a society, as a people, as a country. It has nothing to do with the central government or whatsoever. It's us. I mean, we are at the central government level. We are also at the local government level. We are dealing with funds every day. And the level of mismanagement of funds at the local government level, it's alarming. Like, sometimes I wonder, like, seriously, these are the same people who should bring development to us? What is wrong with this country? Like, what is wrong with people? Why are we like this? I keep asking myself all these questions. Now I understand that it's not about bad leadership. It has nothing to do with bad leadership, but also us as a country, as a society, and as a people. How do we conceive corruption? Is it normalized in our society? Is it safe to say that corruption is normalized in the Gambia? Because the figures and some of the things that are coming up, some of the revelations that are really coming up is really alarming for a serious country.
That's it. But here, I'll say that it's not that I'm excusing leadership. Leadership obviously matters. It determines the direction that the country takes, as it were. Whether it's just going to come and manage the status quo, or you're going to have somebody that would come with a radical agenda. What I mean to say is this. How we live as a collective is a reflection of how we live as individuals. So
exactly.
we
That's
as
exactly
citizens, we cannot be one thing. Then I expect my government to be something else. So today I'm criticize the government for whatever reasons. Now just put me into a position of power. Then tomorrow you'll see me behaving exactly like that one. So there's something that we need to break, as it were, the way we look at public office. You know what I mean? Something needs to break, otherwise always we'll be there for ourselves. Then policies and investments, they wouldn't work because they would find channels, as it were, to siphon them off.
Absolutely.
So this is really
well, there
are
other means and ways. I mean, you know, these public offices always gain their finances, be it getting it from the coffers, their person, like the institution coffers, or diverting certain things, I mean, to get their personal gain. So there are many things that can, you know, lead to certain things. I mean, the corruption, I mean, what are we going to do to bridge that gap? Are we going to digitalize certain things? What happened to the digitalization process that we were just talking about at the Banjul City Council?
State-owned institutions, it's been such a disappointment. They've been woefully shambolic, as it were, all shambles. And yet we believe in them so much. That was really one of the reasons why the drive for privatization sort of gained any momentum in other countries. Well, for us, we are still with this. For instance, say we have our state-owned enterprises, but when you look at the figures, you realize that they rely on us more than anything else. And you're supposed to be an enterprise. But there's nothing enterprising about what they do. They are losing, as it were, all the time. It's amazing.
Yes.
So
I mean, don't you think it's also the people? I mean, it's left to the people to take up their responsibilities.
That's what I'm saying.
Mr. Momodou Mbodj, I traveled to Basse last Friday, and the GTSC bus service, when I used it, it was amazing and very comfortable. I used their, maybe this might be a publication for them, the Nuare service, and what happened is, you know, what happened is, you know, they have this machine. They have their own machine, which they normally that does the ticketing for them. Surprisingly, if you pay your ticket from Serekunda to Basse, they don't have to take any other person on the route because the ticketing covers from here to Basse. So at Mankamankunda, there is a person who wanted to join the bus, and the driver was like, okay, now my machine cannot enter your ticket anymore because it's done since from Banjul. If I do it now, it will be like I'm breaching that agreement. You know, so those are the kind of attitudes that we should inculcate. For easy movement.
Absolutely.
Yes. Doing the right thing for its own sake. This morning when I was going with our GM, we were talking about something like that. You see some of these drivers, when the police are around, then they behave themselves. But when the police are not around, then you can just do whatever.
Whatever.
Well, as a human being, why do I need to be like that? Why do I need sort of a kind of a slave master holding the whip for me to do the right thing? It doesn't tell well on me. I should be the kind of person where I do what I do because it's the right thing, not because I'm scared of authority. So that is why you hear sometimes people say that, oh, Jammeh should be back. I'm like, we are not animals. It is animals you beat so that they will do the right thing.
It's the system.
Why is it that? Why is it that when you look around,
It's the mindset.
when authority is not here, then I just turn into being an animal. It's an extraordinary situation we are in without the whip. I'm not going to work.
I can't really understand.
It is unflattering. It's so
is.
unflattering. It reduces me to
And it starts from the tender age.
Disgusting.
It
I mean,
starts
once
from
the teacher,
homes,
once the
our
teacher,
communities,
exactly.
you know, our houses. Okay, you're taught if your parents are around, you are like a saint. If your parents are gone, you can just do whatever you feel like doing. I mean, these are things that are inculcated in us at a very tender age. And we grow up with that, thinking that, okay, if someone is around, someone in authority, that is the only time we can do something that is right. But once they're gone, we are free to go back to our normal selves.
And in many
it's
ways,
unfortunate.
We've always used fear in schools. Your teachers would hit you all the time. See, they think that when you're fearful, then you can learn. You get certain sums wrong, they beat you. So learning out of fear, that's a different world. You learn because you love it, because you want to. See, stuff like that. So fear is into sort of everything we do, really. Otherwise, I really find it very difficult to talk about this because I really do not know how to characterize this. There were certain people who used to call us certain names, and now as Africans we are imitating our image. I cannot follow rules unless I have somebody with a whip. I don't know how to deal with that. I'm just done.
I think it all starts has to do with civic education.
It's at home, how you're brought up. Some of us
you're brought up, but also society has a big role to play. I mean, we all cannot be brought up in the same way, Mr. Mboj. We are from different homes. But at the end of the day, if most of us or majority of us behave the same way, then there is a problem.
That's it. So what you have now, maybe the minority with the sort of persuasion, society, things always shift. Nothing is really stagnant. Nothing will tell you that how we did it yesterday is exactly how we're going to do it. That's why you have the generational shift. So ideas do swirl about, ideas do change, because afterwards, I suspect that today, parents do not quite hit as much as before.
No, it's...
I have a feeling that it has gone down.
It has.
That's it. When you take our generation, most of us were hit all the time, not just by teachers, parents, grown-ups, adults, your uncles, aunts. You were fair game for everybody, really. I suspect that has gone down a bit. So things will move on. You'll bring your kids up properly. Upbringing is good, but why does it necessarily have to include caning? See, it's good to discipline your kids, but people just equate discipline with caning. There are other forms of discipline, not simply caning. So these are your certain changes that we make, and we
are-
bring up
we are
healthy
hopeful.
citizens.
But I mean, it starts from the grassroots level. It starts from the council. It starts from the local government.
No, you see, I think it starts from the top.
Top-bottom approach.
Absolutely.
I think it-
all change has always started from the top, then the bottom will follow. So there's a new rhetoric about the bottom up. We hear it from development workers and all of that. But our ideas, the good ideas that make a shift, they start from the top, then they come down. I disagree with that. I'm an elitist. I think things start from the top. The radical
Going
stuff
down.
that change, the radical stuff that change us, they come from elites. Then they spread. Leaders can tap into what the majority feel. See, they tap into that, really, why the ideas really come from top democracy. That was
I
created
still-
by an elite. Elites created democracy, not ordinary folks. Please.
I still believe that it should start from the grassroots. As far as this topic is concerned, it should start from the grassroots and going
But
up.
it doesn't. That's
Yeah,
just
that's where
talk.
the problem
That's just a
is.
sort of left-wing talk. It starts from the bottom. It doesn't. It starts from people who know, people who, you know.
Who are the people that who
the-
know? I mean,
the
who knows?
sort of
I mean, who are the people that know?
inventors, people who come up with ideas. Do you think that democracy was an idea that made itself? People thought about it and then they wrote about it. For a very long time, nobody cared about it, but it was the elites who created this. It's a concept. Most of our concepts come from philosophers and thinkers and religious leaders and stuff. Elites create our concepts, not ordinary folk.
léegi nañ move on nañ waxtaan mu ngi mel ni comme
It's an interesting
Wow.
topic.
I know. Everybody now, you are egalitarians and socialists for the people and that kind of talk.
béykat yi si
I'm not like that.
béykat yi si dëkki kaw yi xam nga dëkki kaw bi wane nañ ne am nañ mbégte si mbéy mi maanaam si jiw bi kontaan nañ si torop mooy the early maturity crops you know ñu ngi si bég last time
that's a good
cryoon
news.
nañ de
Wow.
Yeah,
Alhamdulillah.
last year wasn't so good.
waaw even early this year sax
Yeah,
ñu ngi doon
wasn't
jooy
so good.
waaye léegi mu ngi mel ni kontaan nañ de
Wow. But man, li ma dee wonder mooy li taw bi maybe taw bi pare na or maybe parewut li moo dem late nii ba October. I wonder how did it affect certain crops, certainly. Maybe not all, but I suspect some crops are susceptible of
comme
certain
watermelon
things.
watermelon soxlut ndox bu bëri
You see, yeah.
waaw
So xam ngeen kañ la kay day ji.
waaw
ba pare kañ la
gerte bi tam
you know.
soo demee ba am na benn time boo xam ne soxlut ndox
Bu bari, yeah.
because moom dafa soxla lu wow pour mu mun a mature si suuf so it depends probably why they are optimistic ne dina baax you know xam naa ne moom jooyoon nañ mooy farmer yi but at some point now
Wow.
they
You mean earlier bi ndox ñëwut ndox bu bëri ñëwutoon am na somewhere they were complaining.
Exactly.
We haven't seen much.
am nañu
But
amoon
fu mu
drought
nekk
around ñu nekk Soma. They experienced drought for a couple of weeks. Amuñ ndox gisuñ ndox so hopefully situation be resolved now. Yeah, we're
I
just praying
saved-
for a bumper harvest for everyone, all the farmers out there.
he said I saved the council $350,000 is fuel expenses per year Talib Bensouda well but I mean we expect this from him Mr. Mboy
How?
Is it, that's,
we like expect he's the chair he's the mayor I mean at some point
no, yes. No,
What on
for some of us guys, seeing first question meaning, fact check. How do we fact check that? Is it
That.
factually true?
So we have then we leave that to Gambia fact check
Absolutely.
Fact check.
fact checking farm here
Absolutely.
yeah so Mr. Momodou Mbodj will take a leave of you we've already
Merci
exhausted
beaucoup.
our timing and until tomorrow probably we'll
Yeah.
have you again yes
You know, with you guys, one never knows, yeah.
you never know
One never knows.
Absolutely,
One never knows.
absolutely. Yeah. So we'll take a short break. After the break, then we'll talk to the C3G conducted breast cancer screening, and we'll be talking to Soma Njai and Laila Trabulsi. I mean, we'll be right back.
Felenting a Q Smart and in Q Smart Plus na falie hade natal senyaringol set aka wallata akata bake yenyin soto kat ko mobile tariyarim ba andum foka pare ala batterio beta ala wati janda aka ji Q-Smart ye 5.9 immersive display la soto. Nyindu mu dalasi wuli sabanin kemenani da maleti. Niye mobile o nyin sang iba bondulo soto la min tata for 15 GB. Andung kemeni muang free talk time fanam betara yele. Warning keme saba SMSO. Foka pare nyimbe mu free lati niye mobile o nyin sang. Walante fana ni lafta Q-Smart Plus la. Wo fanam bijele. Ice screen warman bala soto minketa 6.5 inches te. Anin dalasi wuli nani da ma isa nyi mobile o soto no. Anu foka pare afana ni bundle package ole nata. Iba 30 GB data soto la. Yekeme saba SMSO soto. Ani yekeme ni muang talk time soto. Nyimbe dung hani feng ita jola. Kana tu koma. Ila Q-Smart ni ila Q-Smart Plus soto B kabo Q-Cell la. Isa nyi mobile o soto no B na customer care build o mimba nyi banko kang. Momo lafta kuma koyo moela nyinto. Isa na customer care bunjulola ni 111. Q-Cell. Sunyu boss. Dole asilo walang. Dole abulan numa. Nyindung ani sartole nata.
It's happy time. Get 50% off all calls to any network. Enjoy calls every day to any network from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Is it too good to be true? QCell. We innovate, others follow. As the fastest growing GSM company in the Gambia, QCell has the widest 4G plus coverage in the country, 3 times faster internet speed than our competitors. So switch now and dial *335# and enjoy what true 4G feels like. QCell, the Gambia's trusted network. QCell, the fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you the eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Senior Bus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Get a QCell SIM card for free. Yes, absolutely free. Walk into any of our customer care centers and get a SIM free of charge. With a QCell SIM card, you can get the fastest and the most reliable internet plus wide range of amazing services. So rush now to any of our care centers and get a free SIM now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell Sunyubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Have you?
We are back. You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Asuri Balde. Now let's head to the breast cancer screening conducted by the C3G Foundation. When we talk about the C3G Foundation, it's not a new name.
Yeah.
You know, they've been doing activities like this from the Bundung Maternal and Health Clinic. I think last year something like that happened there.
Yeah.
It's not a surprise too. They are also supporting Pink October with breast screening.
Yeah.
It's important. So, Julde, it's important for us to engage them.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And then this morning we are joined by Somanjai and Leila Tribulsi.
Tribulsi.
And yeah, Tribulsi is from the C3G Foundation. They will be taking us through. But first things first, welcome, ladies.
Thank
you.
You
look gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
You're most welcome. So tell us about the importance of early detection for breast cancer.
Okay, fantastic. Well, for us, it's one of the key things. We started with C3G. One of the things that was the most heartbreaking about cervical and breast cancer here in the Gambia is our prognoses. Worldwide, 90% of women survive breast cancer. In the Gambia, it's 10%. And one of the primary reasons, in my understanding, is that we run away from the news that there may be something wrong with our bodies. We tend to hide and withdraw when we sense that something's wrong. We've had screenings when Layla and myself and other members of the team have gone around knocking on doors saying, "Jigéen ñi léegi ñu ngee def dara for free. Women, we're doing something for free. We'd love to come and help. We'd love to talk to you about cancer." And they're like, I wouldn't want to find out. That would be the worst news. And what we're really keen to let people know is the rates of survival, if you find out early and do something, are phenomenally high. It needn't be something that's killing so many women. And it's sad that such a treatable cancer, relatively, is one of the biggest killers of women in the Gambia. Cervical and breast are two of the biggest
But I think,
killers.
as he mentioned, that over the years we've had so many events, starting from Buyam, and then before that Bundung, and then Bundung again. People have understood, and women have become really wonderful at getting excited to come to these events. And what was beautiful about it is that once they come and join us, we teach them how to self-breast examine. So the women that couldn't come and join to the events, now we tell them to go and do it with their neighbors, teach the women. So the taboo of fear has reduced phenomenally since we started with these events. And I think it's important that with shows like this, relevant if we're here or not here, the mention of cancer people shouldn't break down in fear. And that, like any other disease, once it's early detection, this is the most important. The earlier to detect, the better you've got survival. So these campaigns that we do, where we go and examine women for cervical and breast cancer, almost 700 women. That's amazing. And on top of it, we leave the places that we go and they continue. So Bundung now does it Monday to Friday,
every morning. So this is something that's
it continues.
Is it only the duration for Pink October?
This is why we're saying it continues.
It continues.
So we do our events in Pink October because to honor, celebrate the breast cancer in Pink October. But we try and encourage that wherever we go, that we set up places that can continue for the entire year.
Absolutely.
In Bundung, as you know, we C3G managed to get the examination for cervical, even the
colposcopy?
Yes, and the thermal coagulators.
Yep.
So they were actually, when you find, God forbid, the cancer cells in cervical, they can burn them and help women not develop the cancer full-blown. This is already set up in a lab in Bundung at the moment.
Wow, nice.
And that was almost $25,000 donation that is now functioning.
What an expensive machine.
Yes, of course. So it with us all coming on board, be it companies, personal, everyone says, but we're busy. We're all busy. But our life is just, it's not only you. Cancer can happen to anyone. But what about if it's for the people that are destitute, that don't know how to examine or how to get treated, or the families that suffer when these families have cancer member? It's very heartbreaking. So no matter what we do, we're not doing enough, and we all should come on board to do even more.
Don't you think? Yes. Okay. Go ahead, Judah.
You mentioned earlier that during this screening, you encountered with around 700 people that you screened.
Yes.
Out of that number, how many of them were positive for breast cancer?
It varies because we have been doing this for a while. This year is going to be our 8th edition, the 8th time that we're going out and doing screening events. And it really depends on the area, like Auntie Layla says, the awareness, because of course there's a lot less incidences that we see where people are regularly going and screening and regularly reaching out to their doctors and getting this early treatment. For some, they've seen it before, they've received treatment, and they're just coming for annual checkups. So it's as we say, things are looking phenomenally better, especially for those who know that every year they go for a full spec, they do their monthly self-examinations twice a month. And for example, one of the reasons why we're going to Bansang is because quite recently they did a screening event, and if I recall correctly, 250 women were seen, and there were about 100 of those who had various signs, troubling signs, whether it was evident cancers or suspicion of cancer. So for us, it was a no-brainer, an area where people were having to wait until infrequent and smaller
Checkups.
events were happening. Why not go and make sure that we scoop as many as we can and see as many people to start them on that journey of recovery and wellness, and to spread the word on how
Absolutely.
they
So
can
what
help
are the
themselves,
current
yes.
age guidelines for breast cancer screening? Yeah.
Sorry, could you repeat that again?
The
age
current
guidelines.
age guidelines
okay.
for breast cancer screening.
Well, under the age of 30, it's about getting used to getting your own breast checks. So this is from, you can't really start early enough to get used to what
Over
changes happen in your
35,
body.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
So over
exactly.
35 is to have these annual
Yeah.
and more in-depth checks. Slightly earlier, if you have a history of breast cancer.
In the family.
Yes, in the family, because there's been some research to show that there is a pattern of it being genetic as well as
Hereditary.
environmental. And again, it's not something to be scared of. It's something to have those conversations with your daughters, with your sisters, with your aunties, to be able to support each other.
That's my point there. At some point, you cannot tell your sister, go and check your breast, or tell your daughter, have you checked your breast or something?
Yeah.
So that's the problem. It's the stigma that is attached to it, and the cultural belief that women should not talk about certain things in society. So I think that's also giving us a lot of problems.
Absolutely. I mean, this is something that we absolutely should talk about. There's no shame in having cancer. This is something that there's nothing you've done
It's like any
to
other
deserve
disease.
it.
Yeah.
So this is something that for us, it's about giving cancer a kick in the pants. But
But it's the roles you
yeah.
play too. You see, like you're talking about it today. You could do other shows.
Absolutely.
And then maybe, as they call cancer survivors, there's many of them out there.
Many.
So the more you talk about it, the more it's discussed, the more maybe you have like online social media events, the younger girls. There's a lot of them. They're very active. They're very strong, and they advocate. So maybe this is where you should be tapping your knowledge to say, it's okay, we can talk about it, it's fine. The fathers to their daughters, so you raise a conversation that the whole family is comfortable
Yes.
talking about.
I met a lady, and her breast is cut off. I mean, what stage what stage leads to that?
That one, it's when it's pretty far on, where it spreads so much that you either remove it or it's going to spread to the other tissues. The problem, what's scary about cancer, is that it could start in a certain region and then it could end up all over the body. So now you're not only dealing with cervical cancer, you're now dealing with cancer of the liver, cancer of the that's what is really horrible about this disease. And so this must have been really late detection. So she's got to a point where there's no more. But then, alhamdulillah, as I said, the breast is removed, but it was contained. She's alive and she's with her family. So maybe it's just a cosmetic thing, and nowadays they can, do cosmetic surgery and it can change. But whatever the case, she's here. So the word you used at the beginning, early detection, screening, awareness, it's doing it now so that we don't get to the point where, you're moving a breast or you're dying. And the sad thing about cancer, when it's in its terminal stage, we are now talking about breast cancer. We've lost family members, all of us, to liver cancer, lung cancer recently. And the final stages are very, very painful, not only to the person who's suffering excruciating pain, but to the family members that are having to watch your loved one die away slowly. So it's important that we all have to talk and raise awareness to everyone, to say we are there to support each other. The society in large, the government, the families, individuals, friends. You should all stand together to fight against this.
Yeah, so ladies, I think we are focusing more on women and breast cancer. So does it mean for us men we are not affected at all?
Well, in fact, men
Is it that
have
our
higher
breasts are too
incidences
small?
of
No, you're
cancers.
absolutely right.
And men can actually have breast cancer.
They do,
So it's
God
important
forbid,
when we say with women checking, the reason why we have Pink October is because it's one of the most prevalent cancers in women. It's, I think the statistics is something like 1 in 3 over a lifetime, or 1 in 5 of women. And this is why Pink October has such prevalence. For men, it tends to be prostate cancer, if I'm correct, is the most prevalent. And again, I think over the age of 50, you would have regular checks, like we would have regular checks for breast cancer. So I think with these, it's, and one of the ethoses that we embrace with C3G is it doesn't matter the type of cancer, a lot of the advice is exactly the same.
Absolutely.
Be highly aware of the best state of your body. So get to know yourself so that when things change, if they change, you'll be aware and you'll be able to seek help with confidence that something is wrong and something is different. It's about having those conversations and being able to, like, you know, if you can't speak to your wife or to your daughter about how you're feeling in your body, how difficult is it going to be for you to speak to your doctor? Start these conversations early so they become the norm. The people who are closest to you need you there.
Absolutely.
So they would welcome that, that closeness
So
and
for
that
him,
engagement.
the question which rose, which is very a good one about men. Obviously, you don't have the exterior breast so that you can feel the lump around. How are you going to know? The first answer, yes, men do get breast cancer. Number 2, you can't get them, but you can feel around the breast, and then you watch out for the nipple area, because with breast cancer, it's the change in the nipple or discharge.
Okay.
So if there's anything weird looking, as she said, look at your body, and if you see something doesn't look the way it should look, so suddenly you're getting a discharge on your nipple, or there's a swell around your nipple, or there's something that wasn't there before, or something feels when you're showering and then, oh, hold on, that's funny, or there's something under my arm. You know, it doesn't have to be around the breast area, it could be or a shooting pain. There's a lot of things that can happen. So yes, men can, and yes, you should be aware of it, and you should be observing your body as you do for breast cancer and other issues to do with the lungs or prostate, as Soma said. They're always telltales that the body tells you that there's something not right. So just be aware of it.
So in case of those people that have it genetic, it's in their family history, how often should they screen for breast cancer?
It would be the same. Annual checkups would be advisable, because of course with the higher general rates, it's best to be more aware and to have that in-depth, because that's what I love again about what we do. We have professionals to come in to do the manual. So whilst you're familiar with your own body, professionals over time and experience get to have a feel as to what tends to be very wrong, and what are the most troubling signs. As well as that, we have the equipment that we bring in, specialist equipment, for these particular types of cancers and the way that they present.
So I think for the urge, how often you would do it, it would be the same.
So we annual.
And I think
then twice a month, I think, for your manual
now you
check.
go online and then it shows you how to self-breast examine. They're all there, literally, on your fingertips. You can Google, or you can go on YouTube, or whatever you do, you can literally get this information. So it's lovely to be able to start doing it at home on your own. So do these things on your own, and then you will, and if you feel anything that is not right or a tiny, you should seek a medical and professional.
Attention.
Yes, absolutely.
As part of efforts to save women or save lives, do you have any plans to actually get a machine to take you to rural Gambia to help those women, because they don't have the facilities like we have here in urban areas? So do you have some things like that?
That's what we'll be doing in Bansai. It's brilliant that we'll be able to take machinery that is generally not available there. And that is something that we're always very keen and proactive in doing. And just as Auntie Leila said, with Bundung, we realised that there was a great need in a maternal hospital. This is where women are going to regularly for various other things. It's the perfect place to have the equipment, specialist equipment for female
to carry
cancers.
on.
Yeah.
So the ideal
do.
world would be, which is why we joined in this fight for cancer years ago. The idea is to set up a center, and then in its own be able to actually treat cancer, diagnose it, and give what do they call it, palliative care
end of
for
life
people who
care.
cannot afford to do so for family members. So what would be ideal and what we would be advocating for is that once we get to Bansang, and we've done the first thing, is to see what Bansang Hospital has. And so that when we leave, as we did for Bundong, hopefully we can raise money, get sponsorship, and set up something that can continue in Bansang for the women in the rural areas. Now, if you mentioned the bigger machines like mammographs and stuff, obviously we don't, but there's so much you can do if people don't come on board and support. Like you can't support with money, you can support with your time, but we definitely need that.
So finally, before we close this segment, what can one do to prevent yourself from getting breast cancer? Is there anything that we can do, or is this breast cancer just affects individual without...
you know, I'm a pharmacologist, obviously not a doctor. In general, having a healthy lifestyle is very important. So your smoking, the type of, you know, your rest, your healthy food, and not all the food that has so much preservative, color and whatever. But the sad thing is, no one really knows what brings about that gene defect that causes this thing to happen, and suddenly you have it. But you're advised always exercise. You do your exercise, you live healthy, you eat healthy. But I wish we had an answer for that. That way you can say, I can prevent it. So I would say, live healthily. Everything that's toxic, keep it away. You know, there are a lot of people who tell me, I bought this baby food the other day, we were talking. She thought she was doing very well, that she bought baby jar food. And I said to her, but why would you give baby jar food that you can do your own? Our food here is all organic. We've got lovely vegetables. Why are you proud to give? So she looked at me and said, oh no, Bobo Bahud, Maniko Bahud Dara. Yo yawara toga saleka bi, make it organic, make it healthy, make it fresh. Stay away from all these crisps and sugar and stuff that we people consume so much of. Sugar is detrimental, not to diabetes, to everything. So yeah, so healthy life, checking regularly, and relying on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us good health. You know?
All right, thank you, Julde. We've already exhausted the time.
Okay.
Yes, so thank you,
Already?
C3G
Yes,
Foundation. And, you know, we'll keep following, you know, developments. And don't hesitate to share anything that you want to share with us on this platform. We are in this together.
Thank you so much.
thank
And thank you for having us.
Thank you.
That wasn't so bad.
Thank you. Yes, Julde. All right, so viewers, this is all we have for you today. We'll come back here tomorrow, inshallah, for another edition of QTV This Morning. Enjoy the rest of our program. Goodbye.